today, as we're recording, Rishi Sunak's the Prime Minister.
Big up, Rishi.
So he came here recently, and there was
Here?
not here, but to Grantham.
I thought he was in our studio
No,
a day off.
Yeah, no, I just hid him under a little pile of books.
So, video's pretty popular right now.
Well, yeah, otherwise you and me would be looking for a job somewhere, wouldn't we?
Well, don't you find it's looking for jobs?
So, because sometimes I think to myself, why am I doing this?
You can't go back to the dark side though, right?
Well, I don't know.
Which is employment. I'm not saying employment's bad.
It's not. No, employment's great. I mean, employment, genuinely.
Well, I normally turn up to work between 9 and 15:15 every morning, right?
Yeah, I think
sometimes the annoyance of the rest of the team. But if I was in a paid job, I'd get told off most mornings. I mean, I'd probably be there on time.
But I think being self-employed has benefits. It has intrinsic benefits. Okay.
Oh, yeah. Work-life balance that works.
Well, you say that, but I mean, look, you can have more flexible time.
Yeah.
You can dictate what you earn, and that's all good. But if you can't find it, you can't earn it. If you can't get it, you can't make it. And crucially, like, we've been running business now, 5 years, and I sometimes have sort of wake up in a panic, think, oh Christ, what if we don't get this, or what if it doesn't come in, or what if we can't make stuff? I mean, 2 years of COVID, how we managed to do that.
I mean, anyone listening or watching that survived COVID,
well done. 2 years of COVID disruption. Our studios were flooded 3 times. So we actually underwater, had the fire brigade out. We've had ups and downs with staffing, people leaving, people coming in, going out, people leaving us. We've got an incredible team of people who work with us now. I prefer with and for colleagues rather than staff. And the way we run our business is quite, the nature of what we do is collaborative. So as a result, there is that feeling. But I think that self-employed versus employed, when you are employed, and you were employed, I've been employed, I worked in government for years, I was a journalist, we did all that stuff, right? And there is a certain ethos and peace of mind that I worked in government for just under 9 years, or just over 8 years.
Cushy pension.
Well, pension, holidays, and after 5 years of being there, I got an extra week's holiday. So I had 6 weeks leave a year. But I worked when I walked in the door, and then when I left at 5:15, I was done, and I didn't think about
didn't
work.
Take it home in your head.
No, I didn't think about work. I mean, unless there was something really pressing. I mean, on the whole, you work Monday to Friday. You go in at a certain time, you leave at a certain time, you're paid a certain amount of money, you have your holiday, you have your loo time, you get your pension, you do all those things, right? And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
No.
And I think it comes down to, I was listening to, I know we're sort of, this is a podcast, but obviously you and I absorb information and we listen to other podcasts. And I was listening to an incredible bit of content that Stephen Bartlett did on the Diary of a CEO.
He's done well with his podcast.
Oh, mate, but he's an incredible human. I started following Stephen when he was on The Secret Millionaire years before he became a dragon and all that other stuff. So he's done amazing, and I actually think he's wonderful. I think he's an incredible business person, but I think he's a genuinely brilliant human being, because he's actually now
comes across in the conversation.
Well, he's putting so much stuff back in now, because he's had a load out, and he's putting a lot back into business and helping people. He was having a really interesting conversation with Jimmy Carr, and on my takeaway from that was, if you're happy and you've got enough, then that's cool. If you want to be self-employed, great. If you want to drive a fast car, you want to buy an expensive watch, you want to have a big house, great. Fantastic. If that's what makes you happy, then fantastic. But I don't think that the employed side of thing, I don't think there's a difference. I think it's, if you're happy being employed, great.
Yeah.
If you're happy if you're happier,
you've got enough.
Happier being self-employed, great.
Yeah.
But my aspiration and my stuff changed, when I became a dad. I only really care about providing for my family, and I only really care about giving them experiences, giving my children and my wife nice holidays, being able to go and do things, and enough is enough. And we invest more time now as a business. We're growing and we're employing and we're doing that stuff, right? But we invest more time in how can we employ more people so we can grow our family? How can we put stuff back into our town where we've been successful, where we've been...
Yeah, I mean, we joked about it years ago. We wanted to be Grantham's Google.
Yeah,
we sort
of are.
Yeah, I mean, that's not like beanbags and, flaky breakout areas. But
although we do have an arcade machine,
we do, and a table tennis table, fridge and beer in fridge,
beer in fridge. Yeah,
that's
yeah, nice, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, look, we used to play games on a Friday afternoon.
Yeah,
and now we're busy.
Yeah,
but we like being busy. I mean, going back to the Stephen Bartlett thing, when's enough is enough. Like, how do you quantify that? I mean, with you, like, you had your visualization stuff.
My wife, you know, Michelle, who works with us, you know, she sort of often says to me, she says, just walk around all the time like you're a millionaire. And I am not. Like, you know, I live in a modest house in a modest town. You drive a modest car. You know, I'm not. I don't have, large sums of wealth.
Feel like you've,
but I feel like I've won the game.
Yeah.
I feel like I've won the game. Like, I don't feel like I just feel so fortunate. And I think for I had a great upbringing. I had parents who supported me. I've got great friends. I've had good health to now. I just feel fortunate. And so for me, all I want to do now is grow our business to a point where we can do more stuff that benefits our community, our team, our staff.
Yeah, I think one of our shared values is, I mean, I certainly would. I'd love to be in a financial position with work or through work that if a friend or a family needs help with something, you could just go
do it
for a couple of days and go, don't worry about it. I'll do
your
first ever video for you, or I'll help you set up that web page, or I'll give you a steer on your social media.
Yeah.
Because we can. Like we do charity work every year. We do a
lot.
Yeah, I mean,
we don't like to talk about it.
Big fan of the charity.
Big fan of the charity. Don't talk about it. No, we do. I mean, we do. We have a really strong sense of corporate social responsibility, and I think that's been invested in me from government and actually seeing
government have social responsibility.
Well, I mean, government get a bad central government is one thing. Local government get a bad press, and I think they're working to quite tight budgets with people who genuinely care about their communities. They're offering hundreds of services. There's dog poo and potholes and streetlights. Yeah, but
big up the pothole team in Grantham. They have been filling.
Well, yeah, but it's the other things like parks and air quality and environmental health and rents and rates. The whole benefit system is administered by local authorities at its grassroots level, at sort of local government level. It's just people like you and me
who want to make a change,
want to do a good job. They're doing things, and they've got a high level of corporate social responsibility. They have a
Is there a document in local government that they have to tick a box for?
Well, there are lots of things. There's lots of tick box exercises in government, even Prime Minister. But there's lots of tick box exercises in government. But I think some of the good things, they've got like responsibilities for paying small businesses within 7 days. And
they do like that.
Yeah, it's really good, and they put on arts programs and they fund arts centres, and they keep the lights on in our theatre in Grantham and Stamford and Bourne and Market Deeping, which is all part of their sort of coverage area. They keep leisure centres running. They keep
leisure centres is huge.
It's massive. I think it's one of those things, man. But coming back to it, the difference between being employed and self-employed, I don't think there's a difference. The only difference between being self-employed and being employed is how much risk there is. And whether and going back to Stephen Bartlett and his podcast, I was listening to another one of his things, and there's a guy who's saying that, in real terms, like as long as you can, feed yourself, look after your family, have a roof over your heads, you're doing well, man. You're doing really well. And I think,
I guess be careful what you wish for.
The extra stuff's just stuff. Like I'd rather do good things for it. And I think as a business, we want to do good things. And I think,
I've got a friend in Newcastle actually, and he'd love, he set up a couple of community interest companies that, not for profit. And he wants to make that change and really help his community and, the things he does. And he's like a super skilled tradesman. He can bend, mix, fix, saw, screw, anything. Like he's good with all tools. He's got like huge power tools and big lathes and like bandsaws that cost him 18 grand. And I'm like, dude, this is a wicked workshop. But actually what I've said to him, and it's only my advice or opinion, is that if you make the money first in a private sort of way, in terms of a profit making company, then take that money and then go and do good with it, because I think sometimes, you know, like you mentioned Secret Millionaire before, like you can't do these things, even though it'd be nice for anybody to do them. But unless you've got some financial backing, like you don't need to be at work for 2 weeks, or you don't need to be at work for a month while you're visiting A, B, and C.
Yeah.
So, you know, I said to him, make the money first. It's not corporate cutthroat, just making some profit. Everyone's allowed to do that. You know, we live in a democracy, but also a pretty forward-thinking business country. Like, we're not necessarily restrained, I mean, tax laws and stuff like that. But if you want to go out and make a success of yourself, no one stops you, right? Yeah. I mean, so it's interesting.
I mean, sometimes it feels like government tying both hands behind your back and, you know, knocking a leg off.
Yeah, but try doing what we've done in Somalia. Try doing what we're doing in North Korea. Like, I mean, the fact that a lot of people think this country's gone to ruin, I think is a crazy statement to make, because
but anyway, but we've got off topic. So yeah, all in all, yeah, I don't think there's a difference. So I think being self-employed and being employed, whatever suits you, suits you. And I think as long as you're happy and you know, and you feel like you've got enough, then all power to you.
It's interesting what is enough, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think it changes weekly or monthly or yearly. Depending on, like you said, you had children. Now
changed.
Enough for you was done.
Yeah, enough's enough, man. Yeah. I think do good things.
And listen to Stephen Bartlett.
Yeah, he's great.